was okay. If that small break was good for us, we are gonna get started right now. I think all our speakers are in the call right now. Basically today, it's just a celebration of the South African Librarians Day. So before I waste too much time, I will hand over to Ms. Putsi, that he is going to welcome us and then give an introduction of the guests. Over to you, Ms. Putsi. You are muted.
I see that. Apologies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Program Director. I just want to thank all the members of LIASA, Free State Branch, who are very important to us, very important to the branch. We can't have this without you. I want to welcome all the guests that are here as well. And I also want to welcome the speakers for the day, Prof. Makgola, Ms. Tsinoli, Ms. Mabitla, and Dr. Mofokeng. I haven't checked if they are all here. I take it that they are all here. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. I just want to say Librarians Day is a very important day to us, as it was celebrated. The official date is the 10th of July. And then the National LIASA branch held it on the 11th. It was on a Monday, just to celebrate us. Those who attended, you know that we had a wonderful presentations of librarians of different calibers to grace us with their expertise. And it's also a wonderful way of celebrating this year, because we are celebrating 25 years of LIASA. I want to say, with our branch, we always celebrate in style. We celebrate ourselves by celebrating other people. So every time when we have Librarians Day, there's something different that we do, something interesting. So before COVID, we had a celebration at Bainsplay, which is a middle school which we adopted, and we started a library there, a school library there. It's still running, and also a food garden. I went there the other day when I invited them for the South African History Retold. When they came for the program. When I got there, they said, no, our food garden is still going strong. And I even reported to our former chair, and she was very excited. So we are really happy to see what the fruits of the branch, that what we are doing. And we know that every seed that we sow, we will reap. Even if we are not here, the branch will reap, and we'll see wonders everywhere. So with those words, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and keep on doing what you're doing. It doesn't go unnoticed. Even if it's not us that reward you, you will get your reward somewhere as a branch member. And keep on doing, and thank you for your faithfulness. I just want to say we will meet again in the next Librarians Day as celebrating it again. Thank you. Over to you, Program Director.
Okay. Thank you so much for that wonderful welcome. I will now hand over to Ms. Makgola, who is going to introduce our first speaker. Over to you, Ms. Makgola.
Apologies, Program Director, it's the Chair-elect.
Chair-elect, yes, Chair-elect, sorry.
Good afternoon, colleagues and everybody. I'm very much happy to be part of this event. I'm just going to facilitate the two events. The first one being the book launch, and the second one will be the panel discussion. Before we can start with the book launch, I need to verify if all the panel members are here. I saw Prof. Makgola, I saw some people, but I don't know their names. Maybe if you are a panel member, we can just catch a glimpse of your face just before we start, and also the book launcher, we need to see your face. Let me start with the book launcher. Are you here? Oh, Prof. Makgola, thank you. Thank you. Book launcher. Okay. Oh, all right, colleagues. Dr. Mufokeng. I need to verify this before we start, colleagues, so that we are all in the same boat. Okay. Maybe
I think. Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, there is Dr. Mufokeng. I know him. Thank you very much. And then
I think Olebogeng is here.
Oh, Olebogeng is here. All right, colleagues, we are going to start with the book launch first, and then after which we will come to the panel discussion and the questions that might crop up because of what is happening. So I'm handing over to Mrs. Makgola to introduce the book launcher. Thank you. Over to you, Ms. Makgola.
Thank you, Program Director. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Protocol observed. I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Olebogeng. Mr. Olebogeng is a 22-year-old entrepreneur and author of 2 books titled Elevations Requires Isolation and What Am I Learning from my father. He was born and bred in Bloemfontein, Free State. He is also a former Free State life guide. Lebogeng studied project management and just studied sound engineer. Over to you, Chair. Thank you.
Olebogeng, the floor is yours. And colleagues, I just want to indicate that our time is very limited. So if we can speed up things. Over to you, Olebogeng. A chairperson, the Free State chairperson, perhaps if we can verify the availability and the attendance of Olebogeng.
Okay, Mr. Facilitator, I'll just check now.
Okay.
Maybe we can probably go to the next item, because I see his name. I don't know if it's him. It says Olebogeng.
They just need to unmute.
Okay. All right. I see a hand. Yes. Can you just unmute? We can't hear you.
Good afternoon, colleagues. I'm just trying to check with Olebogeng. He is joined, but he's just struggling with the sound. Can we maybe just continue? He'll join in a few minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. As we are waiting for Olebogeng, may I call Mrs. Makgola to introduce the panel members, and then if ever she mentioned your name, please, we need to see your face, and then when she's done, then you can mute your video, and then the same should happen with the next person. Over to you, Ms. Makgola.
Thank you. I will start with Ntate Jerry, Dr. Jerry Mofokeng. Dr. Jerry Mofokeng Wamacher received an honorary doctorate in letter DLIT degree for his commitment of scholarship and his service to humanity from the University of the Free State on the 28th June 2019 during the second last ceremony of the 2019 June graduation. Dr. Jerry Wamacher is an iconic and award-winning South African actor who has appeared in several critically acclaimed films, including Cry, The Beloved Country, Lord of War, Mandela, and de Klerk, and the 2005 Academy Award-winning film Tsotsi. That's our first panel member. The second panel member is Detlale Mabitle, Didi Mabitle. Didi Mabitle was born in Tabanchu. Education, she started school at Namanyane Primary School, progressed to Christian Lepoko Middle School, matriculated to Goronyane High School. She has shown interest in writing and reading in Setswana from her primary days, where she was nominated as the speaker of all Tswana related matters, namely reading a book, reciting a poem, and summarizing a book. A work experience, she worked at various hotels, casinos between 1996 and 2007. In 2013, she joined Selosesha Public Library and rekindled with her love of books. She wrote 2 Setswana books in 2019, managed to publish Ditoro. Excuse me, it's not my first language,
Yes.
so I'll try. And Boitoko and Ditoro Tsahaho to Gedibone. Currently, she is in her 3rd year of study with UNISA bachelor degree in library information science. That's our panel number 2. Askisimele. My 3rd panel member is Mamotale Benoli. Mamotale is the operations and multimedia manager at Sanbonan Media, which is one of the publishing houses in South Africa. She has been working at the company for the past 7 years. Her love for publishing arose from media, as she was a radio presenter for Setsoto FM, Kofsi FM, and also worked as a producer and journalist for SABC News in Bloemfontein. Her move to Sanbonani Media was to be able to assist individuals to give a voice to their stories, which has been accomplished as various authors have been able to publish their books through the company. That's our panel number 4. The last panel is Prof. Solomon Makgola. He's the campus director of the Welcome campus of the Central University of Technology, Free State. He received his CA rating as an established researcher from the NRF, which is the National Research Foundation, in January 2020. Prof. Makgola is registered with the Health Profession Council of South Africa as a psychologist. He is also a member of Psychological Society of South Africa. Prof is an associate member of Makgola Institution of Logotherapy in Dallas, Texas, USA. He holds a PhD in child psychology from the University of the Free State. The title of his thesis is Meaning in Life and Life Stressors as a Predictors of First Year's Academic Performance. Prof is a regular guest in one of the national radio stations, Lesedi FM, and SABC Education. Despite the busy schedule, he is a seasoned researcher who has contributed research articles in peer-reviewed journals and also presented papers in national and international conferences. In 2018, CUT presented Prof with the Vice Chancellor's Excellence Award, Senior Management category. In 2014, he was presented with the CISA Award, which for Best Practice. The South African Association of Counseling Psychology also presented him with an award for being one of the most outstanding counseling psychologists in 2014. Ethos Lifestyle magazine presented Prof with several awards: Local Author of the Year in 2017, Author of the Year in 2018, International Book Launch of the Year in 2019, Inspirational Deeds Initiative of the Year 2020, Goldfield's Ambassador of the Year 2020. Prof is an author of 2 academic books published by UNISA Press in 2016 and 2017, respectively. The title of his books are 1. Finding Meaning, Stop Wondering. 2. Pimp the Pain, Purpose-Inspired Dialogues. In 2021, he released his 3rd book on integral spirituality, titled 70 Women and One Man, Meetings with the Remarkable Woman. Prof is the senior pastor of the Oil of Bethel Chapel. He is married to Dr. Nonki Makgola, who is a specialist family physician, occupational medicine doctor at Bongani Regional Hospital. Prof is a father of 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy. Thank you, Chair. And sorry for my pronunciation. Setswana, it's not my mother tongue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Makgola. I have just received a notification on the chat box that Uleboheng is ready. Maybe we should go to the book launch first, then after which we go to the panel discussion. Uleboheng, can I catch a glimpse of your face? Okay, Ms. Makgola, can you introduce the book launcher, please? And then after which we are handing over to you, Uleboheng, just to tell us about your book that you are launching. And then may I mention that we are working under a very limited time. Let us try by all means to be brief to the point. Thank you, Ms. Makgola.
Thank you, sir. Olebogang is a 22-year-old entrepreneur and the author of 2 books titled Elevation Requires Isolation and What Am I Learning from My Father? He was born and bred in Bloemfontein, Free State. He is a former Free State lifeguard. He studied project management and just studied sound engineering. Over to you, Mr. Olebogang. Thank you. Please
We
unmute
can't hear you,
yourself.
Olebogang. We can't hear you. Maybe you can unmute yourself. Olebogang. Can you please unmute yourself, Olebogang?
I suspect Ulebogang has a problem with their mic. So maybe we should continue with other things until they indicate that they are good.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Mufokeng. Yes, maybe we should go to the panel members. We have 3 authors in the list of panel members, and we also have a publishing house, Sanbonani. So I'm going to ask few questions. Please ensure that you are brief to the point because of time. And then I will ask the first question, which is for the authors. And then I will also come to the second one, which is for the publisher, Sanbonani. And then you may respond in whatever order, there's no problem, as long as we receive a response from you. For the authors, I want to congratulate you for the books that you have written. I'm very much grateful because you are contributing towards knowledge. But I want you as an author, and I've heard that some of you have written more than 1 books, just to actually give us a short synopsis of your book or your books. That is the first question to the authors. And then to the publisher, I want you to tell us about the history of your publishing house or company. I'm sure I'm clear. So I'm handing over. Maybe we should start with the publisher first and then the authors thereafter. In whatever order, there's no problem. The publisher, you are first.
Thank you so much. Is everybody able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
I am from Sanbonani Media. Sanbonani Media is a publishing house. It's based in Bloemfontein in the Free State. And the company was born in 2009. So what we do is that we publish different things, such as journals that we publish for various organizations. We also do conference materials, and we also publish research output that has been done mostly by professors. And we do also books such as novels, those will fall under what we call self-publishing.
Apologies for the interruption.
I'm struggling. The sound quality has deteriorated somewhat.
Yes. May we ask everyone to mute, please, so that we can hear the speaker.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes,
All
I think
right.
it's better now. I think it's better.
Thank you so much. Where did everybody lose me? Where can I go? Or should I start from scratch?
Yes.
I think you must start from scratch.
Okay, that's fine. So Sanbonani Media is a publishing house. You find it in the Free State in Bloemfontein. And it was established in 2009. And what we have been doing is that we publish different books, which also we publish journals. We also do conference materials, research output, which would fall under most professors that like to do research. And we have an umbrella, which we also call the self-publishing. So self-publishing would be books that are written by different authors, but then they want to have control of the rights of the books. Medicari is one of the people that we have worked with, and she's also part of our panel today. She self-published her book as well. So things that we'll be doing in the services would be peer review. Some books do require peer review in terms of to make sure that they are legit and there's no copy material that happened there, and whether it's a content which is relevant and well researched. And we also do language editing in terms of the services. We do a layout of the book, we do the cover, the graphic design that goes into it. And we work with different authors across the country on also some of them are from international. In terms of people that we have worked with, just to mention a few, we work with the University of the Free State. They recently launched the African Language Press, and we also working with them in terms of making sure that different authors are able to publish in their mother tongues. We work with also CUT, which is the Central University of Technology in the Free State, and other universities across the country. We also did a book, which is for Professor Twala, 12 Lives of Nelson Mandela Disciples, is the latest release that we have. We've also worked with one of the well-known people in South Africa, Somizi. His book titled Somizi, it went through us in terms of graphic design as well as layout and printing. So we help from the author. They will bring the manuscript to us until we see the book that it's in the shelves. So if you want us to distribute and also sell your book, that's the services that we also offer. So briefly, yes, that is what we do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, my sister. And then I'm handing over to the three authors who are here in whatever format, no problem. And then I want to ask the attendees, please note any question that you want to ask. And then after their presentation, then we can ask questions. Oh, Ditlhare? Ditlhare, please unmute yourself. We can't hear you, Ditlhare. Unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. We can't hear, we can't hear.
Can I go whilst we try to solve that technical issue there?
Yes, Dr. Mofokeng.
I wrote a book, and basically I say to people, the book wrote itself through me. I come from Bantu education where for the whole year you read Benny and Betty and Baobab. And the whole year you read in this one book and you still don't understand it because there isn't the culture of reading. Oh my goodness. There are renovations in this hotel, so suddenly the machines have gone on. I don't know how to deal with that now.
Can you proceed?
Okay, you'll say when it becomes unbearable. So that's what we grew up with. And then, of course, we because of some influences, we read books from the Americans, basically mainly religious books, and books that were banned that we could get a hold of. And so we didn't have book clubs, but somehow we did, because books will go from one person to the next, one person to the next. Whoever found a book got it, that book circulated. So that's really how we got to read. The library we had no relationship with the library per se. I remember I was at Orlando West High School, and the first library was built during our time there, 1970, and we had a class in that library for starters. My book is entitled, I Am a Man. It was an inspiration that I can't fully explain. Don't ask for a scientific or academic explanation for that. It was an inspiration. 5 years or so before I actually started earnestly working on the book, I announced on Facebook that I was going to write this book. And then eventually the publishers wrote to me and said, look, we would like you to write a book, and what kind of book would you like to write, and so on. Submit some basic material. Because I had spoken a lot to men's groups, I submitted that material. And so we eventually, somebody says, I like that title. Somebody else has said to me, that's a very provocative title. What did you want to realize? Why did you choose such a provocative title? But anyway, I wrote that, and several influences led to that. But as I started writing, 2014, December 10, I found out who my father was at the age of 58. And somehow that gave the book a story. My Journey to Me is one of the titles. And so I address my journey sociologically and my journey artistically, and my growth to manhood, educationally and otherwise. And so eventually I put in a few hints on the things that perhaps are attributes that we would consider when we say, then who's a man? What is a man? I maintain that manhood is an inside job. Acting, you can put on a wig, makeup, costume, everything outside. If there is no character inside, you're wasting your time. That lens is going to capture a lie. So similarly, if males want to prove that they are men, you look at the birth certificate, it only confirms your gender and how old you are. How many beers you can drink without getting drunk, it doesn't make you a man. You can even make children and not be a man because you don't know how to father. And so, yes, I guess because of my age, I can be bold to say the kind of things that I say. And I have had a very good reception to the book. And companies are buying the book in bulks, which really makes a difference, I guess, for the writers that are listening or watching this. If you can find a way of selling bulks and not one by one, because that's a very slow growth for the book. But then, for me at least, if you write a book like that, you must walk the talk. Otherwise, people will say, don't come and lie to us. We know that you have private children. We know that you're a wife beater. We know that you abuse actors. they have to go between the sheets to get roles. If I can't walk the talk, then my book has no merit. And so a book like this, when you write a memoir, there's no Photoshop. You say it like it is. You make yourself vulnerable. And so it took me 1.5 years to write the book, and I'm happy that I did. The editors cut about 50 pages because it was fat. It was not necessary material. So editors and publishers are important to help you, that you don't write a pamphlet, you actually write a book. It doesn't help to try and do everything for yourself. And then you don't see your own blind spots. I know it's good to say, I self-published, I sell from the boots, but how far can you go? Is it a book or is it a pamphlet? I know it's a prejudice when I start saying pamphlet, but you need other people, you need other professionals to trim and to sharpen what it is that you want to do. So motivational speakers and coaches need to be careful not to be writing pamphlets. But yeah, I'm thankful for the reception. And in October, possibly this year, with launching the Sesotho version of the book. Let me not monopolize. I hope that sort of answers your question, Chair. Thank you very much. And colleagues, hello and good day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mofokeng. Thank you very much. Prof. Makgola, and then Ditlhare after that. Please, Ditlhare, unmute yourself when you speak.
Thank you very much, Program Director and colleagues. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be sharing this platform with young authors and also with people who are experienced in issues of life, like Ntate Jerry. My name is Professor Solomon Makgola, and amongst many things, I'm the campus director of the Welcome campus, but also the acting director in the Office of the Vice Chancellor. I will briefly talk about the 3 books that I wrote. And the first book is titled Find Meaning, Stop Wondering. And the foundation of this book was my PhD thesis. I studied a PhD in child psychology and related fields with the University of the Free State. And the title of my PhD thesis was Meaning in Life and Life Stressors as Predictors of First-Year Academic Performance. In other words, we wanted to know, in the midst of everything that students go through and their backgrounds, what is the best predictor of academic performance at university? And myself being a student of Dr. Viktor Frankl, who is the founder of a school of thought in psychology called logotherapy. Logo comes from the Greek word logos, the word. In other words, as logotherapists, we are healing people through the word. We are healing them by helping them to find the meaning and the purpose of their lives. To say everything in life happens for a reason or a purpose. And our responsibility as people is to find the meaning behind each and every experience that we go through. And of course, in my PhD, I said, we can do everything but for as long our life can throw everything to us, but for as long as we have a sense of meaning and purpose, we can survive everything. And out of my research study, 3 significant predictors came out that are the best predictors of academic performance. And the first one was a high sense of meaning. The second one was parental support. And the third one was good metric results. And therefore we concluded that students with a high sense of meaning, who have support from parents with a good metric results, are more likely to make it at university. Because each and every student, by the way, who is admitted at university has potential to pass at university, because they come here with a metric score that has given them entry to the university. But what is the best predictor? And we discovered that if students have a high sense of meaning, they are most likely to make it. And out of that particular research, then subsequently, I decided that I need to build on this research. And I conducted more researches in the field of logotherapy, or helping students to find meaning and purpose. We didn't only look at the first year students, but we also traced them from their first year until final year. Therefore, it took about 10 years for me to write this book, because the study was not only in terms of looking at the first year, but we also followed them up longitudinally to discover if a sense of meaning is a good predictor of first year academic performance. Is it also a good predictor of succeeding in your studies? And we discovered that yes, students with a high sense of meaning are the ones who graduate also within record time. And as I indicated, this was based on my research. And I don't want to say much about this first book, but then let me come to the second book, which is titled Pimp the Pain, Purpose-Inspired Dialogues. Back in the years when Facebook was not fashionable also to people who were marketing, or even people who were preaching or conducting motivation sessions on the social media, I went on a drive when people were sending or posting, whatever they wanted to post. The internet can either be used for good things or bad things. When they went out there to socialize, I decided I'm going out there to teach people about the principles of finding meaning and purpose in life. And therefore, each and every day, I will share a short story about myself, and I will invite the audience to critique this story and for us to hold a dialogue or a conversation. So it was not a monologue, but it became a dialogue. And these dialogues continued each and every day. And one day, a certain lady from California by the name of Mary Simuluka, may her soul rest in peace, sent me an inbox and said, Solomon, you are writing very good stories. They are very inspirational. And she said to me, I hope you are keeping this beautiful story somewhere, because you might need them someday when you write your book. And then I accepted the prophecy, with open arms, with an open heart, and I thanked her. And then the next day, a certain lady said to me on Facebook, she said, I saw that your name appeared in a copy of Drum Magazine. And I said, Drum Magazine, what am I doing in Drum Magazine? And she said they had posted a story or a post about celebrities and drug abuse. And you happened to respond or to comment on that post. And that was when they took 5 significant responses and they paired them with their post and they published them in this book. And I went like, bingo, that's how I'm going to publish my book. So I took out all of the stories and I divided them into 3 main categories. Creative values, what we give to the world. The secondly, experiential values, what we take from the world in terms of our experiences. And thirdly, in terms of attitudinal values, the attitude that we attach towards suffering or the attitude that we attach towards unchangeable circumstances. And I categorize them in that way. And I took this manuscript and I sent them to UNISA Press, which happens to be the biggest university publishing house in Africa. And I said, I have written this book on my experiences on Facebook. This is how I am teaching people about the principles of logotherapy on Facebook. Are you willing to publish it? And bingo, the publisher accepted the manuscript and they published the book. And by the way, earlier on, it was indicated that I received an award from the Psychological Society of South Africa for best practice. And the best practice was through the efforts that I made to share this particular 3 significant values to people on Facebook, but using myself as a platform on which people can hold conversations about the respective issues that they are going through in their lives. So the book was a collaborated effort, even though I appear in the front as the main author of the book, but the dialogues that are in this book are from many people, more than 700 of my friends on Facebook, where we were holding conversations and they were contributing to some of the posts that I shared about issues that affect us as human beings. And hence, the subtitle of the book is Purpose-Inspired Dialogues. And when it comes to my 3rd book, it's titled 70 Women and 1 Man. I need to mention that the first 2 books are based on research, but the 3rd book is based on a personal search. That Jerry indicated that sometimes we need to walk the talk. We don't only need to talk, but we need to walk the talk. Most of the time, as researchers, we go out there, we get information from people, and then we write about that information. But in 70 Women and 1 Man, I am the subject of research. And hence I am saying this book is about a personal search of a journey that I embarked on life and 70 significant women that I came across in my life. The oldest one being my great-grandmother, who died at the age of 116, and she was still able to read a Bible. And the youngest one being my daughter, who was 4 years at the time, from whom I was able to gain so much inspiration. So I'm writing about women from all the walks of life, and some are my spiritual mothers, others are my academic mothers, others are my spiritual sisters. I wrote about my biological sisters. I also wrote about, my 3 daughters, and some of the experiences that I was able to grow through my interaction with them. And Dada Jerry indicated that when you are writing this book, you need to be honest as possible. When I was writing about my 2nd daughter, I also wrote about how, through my interaction with her, I was awoken out of my drunken stupor. And these are some of the experiences that one is sharing in this particular book, that in life is not so much about what you know. The first 2 books about what I know, but this 3rd book is about who you know, because who you know will determine, how much wisdom you can gain in issues of life. And therefore, the book is about integral spirituality. I'm a spiritual psychologist, but the first 2 books are about spirituality in a humanistic context. There is spirituality with a small s, and there's also spirituality with a big S. So each and every one of us is made of the body, the mind, and the spirit. And this is spirituality in a humanistic context, that deep inside of us, each and every person knows what is right and wrong. But besides us being spiritual in a humanistic context, we are also spiritual in a divine context. We also connect with a divine being. And therefore, this book, the third book, is about not only my interaction with these women, but also how I was able to connect with the divine being through my interaction with this 70 ladies. And the title of the book says 70 women and 1 man. And the 1 man is not myself, but the 1 man is my spiritual father. My own biological father died when I was only 11 years old. And before I turned 12, my mother gave me away to go and stay with my spiritual father. And I've been staying with my spiritual father all of those years. And it was through him that I was not only inspired to become a professor of psychology, but along the way, he is also my spiritual mentor. He taught me so much about issues of God and connecting with the Holy Spirit. And as a result, this is my journey with him, that each and every prophecy that he spoke over my life, it was actualized through my interaction with these women. And it was through that I came to realize that no man is an island. We need each other. And therefore the book is about affirming women and saying you've got so much it takes to inspire children to become great in this life. Each and every big door in my life, even becoming a professor, was opened by a woman. But at the end of the day, I also note the importance and the value that fathers speak into their children's life, that though I lost my biological father at an early stage, God provided me with a spiritual father who was able to walk the path with me and inspire me in all areas of life. So in short, colleagues, that is what my 3 books are all about. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof, for what you have said unto us. And now I'm handing over to Dihlari. Dihlari, please, you have a very limited minutes. Unmute yourself. You have 3 minutes. I'm concerned about time. You only have 3 minutes. Thank you. We can't hear Dihlari again. Oh my God. Can you hear us, Dihlari? We can't hear you. Can you hear me? There's a technical challenge with your computer. So
Dihlari.
I think we are bypassing you, Dihlari. And then I'm going to ask another question, after which we move on to the book launch. And then the book launch, I'm allocating 15 minutes for it. After it, we will have the question and answers.
Mr.
Yes,
Facilitator, is there any way that Kagisho
Yes.
can help us with Dihlari?
I
Oh,
was
yes.
trying to assist Dihlari. If you can hear me, at the bottom there, the mute, there is an upward arrow. Yeah, so
Okay.
click on that, and then at the top there where it says select microphone, select either of the 2 options that appear. I suspect that you might have joined using a different sound option. I've also sent you the different instructions in your chat box.
Mm.
Moses, I think let's try and continue, and I will
Oh.
chat to Dihlari in the chat and see if we can assist her.
Okay, Kagiso, thank you. We are
Okay.
proceeding, colleagues. I just want to ask the panel members this question. Today we are celebrating the Librarians Day. What impact has the library had in your life? And what is the message that you can give to all the librarians? We are celebrating, you are here because we celebrate the Librarians Day. So what impact did the library or has the library played in your life? And what is the message that you can give to the librarians that are here? Prof. Makgola, I see you are first.
Yeah, no, let me go first. Moses, both me and you, we studied at Vista, if I'm not mistaken, because the
Yes.
same campus where I am the campus director, I was once a first year student here. And interestingly, during those times when everybody else was going into politics and they wanted to serve on the SRC, I was more interested in becoming a student councillor. And the first place where I became a student, not a student councillor, but a student assistant. And the first place where I became a student assistant back in those years was in the library. So the library contributed so much in my life in terms of, shaping me who I am. I mean, my spiritual father is the one who sent me to Velcom to come and study here. But when people are helping you, you also need to help them to help you. And as a result, I thought to myself, I need to find a job. And the first job that I found was in the library. But besides that, my own biological father, before he died, I remember he used to work for a store called Nazbook Vengel. And he used to deliver books in all of these schools, former Model C schools. And as a result, I thought to myself, when I grow up, I don't want to deliver books in all of these places, but I want to write a book. And every time I found myself being in the library, the smell of the books, inspired me. And I thought to myself, someday I want to leave a piece of my mind in this place. And that's how I was inspired to become an author. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The next responder, Dr. Mufoke.
Ntate, I told you for a night grew up under apartheid. She comes back with 800-page books. And I thought, why do you want to punish yourself with such big books? And I did not see myself as an author. I read plays and I just went into bookstores to buy those plays. And then by default, one day I'm looking for the book on Moshomi and I can't find it anywhere. And then I had to start calling libraries all over Johannesburg to find that book. So as I was studying America, I had to go into the library as a resource, as an oasis of knowledge. And I respected what was in there because it could empower me and change me and make me a different person. So my appreciation of the library came late in life, which is why I don't understand when people are angry, then they burn a library. It's like cutting your nose to spite your face. It's dumb, absolutely dumb. I don't see the wisdom behind that. But yeah, the thing though is, I think the challenge is upon the librarians to give the community an appetite for the library, to give the community a hunger for what's in there. And it's not just children who come to get stories read to them, but it's also Baruti who give their sermons and actually need to read books that are in there. I listen to some preachers who have influenced me a lot. And they're always quoting, I read this, I read this, I read Churchill's story, I read August Wilson's writings, I read this, and they are so much richer because of what they have read. And so, fortunately, I have a relationship with the University of the Free State that enriches me, that empowers me. Whatever it is that I want to study and to go and speak on. These days, people ask me to speak on major topics. And I don't just want to lie to people and give them motivational talks with quotable quotes from Google when I know very little about what I'm talking about. And so the university has become a major resource to me because it makes me smart. The librarian knows what I need to look at, to be able to speak and to learn authoritatively. So it's a late start, but it's a start. In Sesotho, we say, "Ya bohlale o ithuta ka mehla." It is the smart people who learn every day. And it's amazing. I taught at VETS at some point. And when I had review classes before exams, it's the A students who came to those classes, not the strugglers. And the more you know, the more you know what it is that you don't know. And that is where the library comes in. And so I would like to recommend and request librarians on this platform to talk to those people, whether it's the preachers or the politicians or the what have you, who always influencing people out there to say, listen, we are a resource for you to get to know more about the areas in which you're talking to people about. And librarians know. Librarians know. And I think maybe we just want to blame people for not coming to the library, whereas people don't know. And I'm asking librarians, please give an appetite and a hunger and just that thing that just says, if I don't go to the library, I am cheating myself.
Thank you very much, Sanbonani.
Thank you. I would actually say Kisamaye Manswinganga Jerry, whereby he said that it's a resource and a library, which is true. I don't think, I would say majority of people actually use or used the library in their lives at some stage. And for me personally, I would say I come from Vicksburg. It's a very small town. And where I was doing my high school, there wasn't a library in the school. And I used to go to the community library to go read, borrow books and return them. And coming from a disadvantaged family, it helped me in a way that I didn't have to go buy a book for me to be able to read. I had the opportunity to go to the library, sit there, read a book, or take it home and bring it back later. And it was free of charge. So that helped me a lot. And in terms of studying further as well, I would say that I was at the Central University of Technology in the Free State, and we also used the library. So it's a resource in terms of furthering your studies. It also helps in terms of doing research. For authors as well, it will also help if you go there, read books, see the style that is being used by different authors, see what you can venture on and make the most of it. The message that I would give to librarians, first of all, I would like to say thank you so much for the wonderful work that you are assisting. And I would say they meet different personalities, they meet different people. And what I would say to them is, please keep on assisting in every way that you can, because you shape the future of our kids. You help the adults to further their studies and know more. So please continue being patient. You're the ones who know. If I walk into a library and I say, listen, I'm doing a research on this, can you help me? And you're going to say, try this book, try that one. So you play a very important role in our lives. And just be aware that you actually shape the future of the kids, and keep up the good work. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, colleagues, for insightful message and responses. So now we are moving on to the book launch. Olebogeng? Oh,
I hope everyone can hear me now.
yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I do not take it for granted. I am very much appreciative of it. So today I'm going to be talking about my second book, which is What Am I Learning from My Father? And I assume that you have already heard about my first one, which is titled Elevation Requires Isolation. My second one, What Am I Learning from My Father? What I basically tried to do with the book is change the narrative around fatherhood. So too often fathers, well, not fathers, but men are labeled as, we all know, trash, right? So I just wanted to change that narrative and say that not all men or not all fathers are like that. Some fathers are actually there for their families, and they are actually teaching their families and kids a lot of things, you understand? So coming to the title, What Am I Learning from My Father? What I'm learning from my father is how to be family orientated. I've realized how much time my father spends with his family. He'll come back home from work tired, but he does not miss out on sitting on the couch with us and watching soapies, spending quality time together. So that's one of the things that I'm learning from him. And another thing is pure friendships. So I normally observe how my father is towards his friends, and he always has pure intentions. And it's not easy nowadays to find like people that have pure intentions and want the best for you. But with him, that's what he always does. And I try to do that as much as I can when I'm with my friends or around the people I love. Another thing is that I've realized his contribution to the soccer industry. He has helped a lot of soccer players to achieve what they really wanted to achieve. He used to scout for Sundowns back in the days. And from there on, I just want to say, I've learned a lot from my father. I have really learned a lot. So yes, that's about it for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues. I think I have asked a lot of questions. I'm just opening the floor to ask any question to both the book launcher and the panel members. Maybe if we can have about 3 questions from the floor. I see the hand of Sihle, I see the hand of Honorable Molopjani. So we will start with Sihle, and then after that, Jeanette will say your question. Thank you, in that order.
Thank you, Chair. I think my question goes to all the panel members, but which will mainly focus on Prof. Makgola and Dr. Mafokeng. Prof. Makgola, I think in the second book, you kept on mentioning the concept sense of meaning. In your own maybe personal definition or academic definition, how would you define that concept? And I ask this in relation to Dr. Mofokeng's cycle, I'm a man. How does this sense of meaning relate to Dr. Mofokeng's cycle, I am a man? Thank you, Chair.
Let's take Jeanette as well. Then after which we will await for the response. Honorable Molopjani.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ntwarani. I'm not going to ask a scientific question like Sishe did, but mine is directed at Ole. You know, when I read the book, I realized that I'm not the only horrible parent. When the father left the kids at school, and two members of the community had to take them back home, it reminds me of sending my children to school with unboiled eggs one time. So what did the father say when the children came back home after you know, how did he comfort the kids after he left them at school without fetching them? So I found it very I don't know how to put it, but it really made me laugh a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Prof. Makgola, can you respond? And Ole Bokeng, in that order.
Thank you very much, colleagues, for the question. A sense of meaning is something that is extremely important in people's lives. Firstly, let me start by indicating that we have three significant founders of schools of psychology who come out of Vienna. And the first one was Sigmund Freud, who is the founder of psychoanalysis. And Sigmund Freud said, if you give people all the pleasure in the world, you would have cured all of their problems. And he came up with the concept, the will to pleasure. But it was his student, Alfred Adler, who said people are not only interested or are not empowered or motivated by pleasure, but they are also motivated by a will to power. People need to be empowered. And if you give people power, they will be able to function optimally. But it was a student of Alfred Adler, Dr. Viktor Frankl, who said people require a sense of meaning and purpose. And then he indicated that power is not an end in itself, but it's a means to an end. In other words, when you've got power, you should use it as a means to attain things that will bring fulfillment, not only in your life, but also in other people's lives. That as human beings, we are responsible beings. Life sounds a call on each one of us, and our responsibility is to respond in action. And therefore, we must understand that every person has a freedom of will. And there's no person who can claim that they are not in control of their will. You are free to direct your will in whatever way you want to direct it. And having realized that we have a freedom of will, ours is to make a choice to say, I am directing my will towards finding meaning. And I'm not going to find any other meaning, but I'm going to find the meaning and the purpose of my life. Now, there are three ways in which we can find meaning and purpose in our lives. The first one is through what we give to the world. And hence you said, what was the role that the librarians played in your life in being an author? And we have all shared that particular experience to say, what you give to this world in terms of your job, being an actor, being a psychologist, being a teacher, being a lawyer, wanting to go out there and make a difference, that gives us a sense of meaning and purpose. You know, I'm sure the first person who came up with the light bulb realized how much people were struggling during the night. And he tried more than 300 times to say, I want people to have light at night. And by the way, our Creator God wants us also to be creative. And therefore, we have a creative potential in us. And in order for us to give meaning, we need to live up to that creative potential in terms of being creative ourselves. But the second way is through our experiences. And what we are sharing here are our experiences in terms of what our fathers did for us. That life is not so much about only what you do, but people will not remember you only for what you do, but they will remember you for how you make them feel. So the second way in which we gain meaning is through our experiences. I always say to my children, even if I were to die and you get another father, I'm unique in your lives, in your lives, yes? There won't be any other person. I'm irreplaceable. And realizing that as a human being, you are irreplaceable. That particular experience in itself shapes our sense of meaning and purpose. And hence, Dr. Jerry also wrote a book about his experiences of having an absent father and his experiences of meeting his father at the age of 58. And I also wrote about my experiences of losing my father at 11, but also my experiences of somebody coming in to become a father in my life. And I'm saying through that experience, I became what I am. It gave me so much meaning. But the third way, which is the fundamental way in which we find meaning and purpose in life, is that the attitude that we attach towards things that we cannot change, that we are faced with three tragic things in life. The first one being pain, the second one being guilt, the third one being death. Nobody can ever claim that you are free from suffering or from pain. Things happen when we least expect them. And the second way, nobody can claim that you are not going to do anything wrong. We do make mistakes, but when you make those particular mistakes, or when you are in the midst of pain, how do you take that as an opportunity to become the best out of that worst environment? How do you, when life gives you lemons, how do you make lemonade out of it? Whenever you make mistakes, how out of your guilt do you take that as an opportunity to change for the best? To say, I've made mistakes and I acknowledge my mistakes. I'm sorry I made a mistake, please forgive me. And I'm going to live the next phase of my life correcting the wrongs that I've done. But the third one is to understand that life is short. We are all going to die. But in the midst of birth and death, what is it that you want people to say about you when you are dead or when you retire? And my response will be, I've got deeds done, I have loved ones loved, and I suffered with integrity and courage. There's nothing wrong. We cannot prevent ourselves from the fact that we are going to suffer. But how we suffer with integrity and courage, that in itself determines whether we are able to find meaning or purpose in our lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Olebogen, very briefly.
Okay. To Mejinet, what I forgot to state is that I conducted a series of interviews to complete this book. So I basically interviewed my dad's family members and his close friends. So I believe that was my sisters that were forgotten at school and not me. I was still quite young when that happened, so I can't really remember what my dad did or said to comfort them when they got home. But knowing my dad, he probably took them out for ice cream or lunch or something. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Kagiso, can I go beyond 2 o'clock for about 15 minutes? I just want to give Disare to wrap up. If a challenge has a problem, can we go beyond, Honorable Ledwaba?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Honorable Ditare.
Hello, can you still? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. I'm giving you only 5 minutes.
Finally. Okay.
Yes. Before you start, when you are finished, I'm handing over to the program director.
Okay.
And then I want to ask the authors maybe to indicate on the chat box, where can people find your book? Maybe you can give us a direction, because in terms of Popia, I'm not entitled to give your email or your cell numbers. And then my last question, but don't answer it now. I was going to ask, how are you balancing, between authorship and the other things? But don't answer me. The floor is yours, Ditlhare, after which I'm handing over to the program director. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, and thank you for the patience with my computer. To start with my book, Ditora tsa Gago, it's a Tswana book. I wrote 2 Tswana book, Ditora tsa Gago #1, which I entitled Bichoko, and then Ditora tsa Gago #2, which I entitled Kidibone. These 2 books are basically about your dreams, everyone's dreams. But here I intentionally wrote about a girl child. So I'll just read the synopsis from my notes here. Dreams are important aspects of our lives. They are like a piece of cloth attached to your body. They are a constant reminder that as long as you breathe, you have to pursue them. Yes, sometimes you get derailed. Some people get there faster than others. Each day, each and every individual is unique.
Ditlhare, can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can carry on.
So it means we have a challenge with Ditlhare again. Honorable Chairperson has a question before the program director can finish up the good work that he started. Honorable
No,
Chairperson.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say you can carry on, Mr. Facilitator.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. But now we have a challenge with Ditlhare again. So I'm handing over to the program director. Thank you very much, colleagues, for your time and for all the inputs, the questions, and the responses. Thank you very much. Program director.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thorana. We will now try and run very quickly to finish the program of the day. But before I move over to the next item, I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize for the technical glitches that we face today. It's technology, it's load shedding, and all other things that we are facing. So I do apologize for that, and I hope everyone does understand. And then now I'm gonna hand over to the Free State Membership Secretary, Ms. Maya, who will give a vote of thanks to all our participants in today's activity. Ms. Maya, I kindly hand over to you.
Thank you, Program Director. Good afternoon, colleagues, all protocol observed. We would like to thank everyone who has made it to this event where we are celebrating the librarians. We are also grateful that our panelists have made it to this event. We appreciate their stories. We appreciate their work that they are doing in this country. We also have learned today that for us to write and be authors, inspiration comes in many different ways. Others, it comes from scientific life. Others just comes in our own experiences. We also take the challenge that we have been given as librarians, that we librarians know, but other people, they do not know. So it is our responsibility to let the community or whet the appetite of the community and tell them and teach them about the library and its resourcefulness. We would like to appreciate all that has participated, even the panelists that had challenges with the technology. We would like to, we hope that in other engagements that we do have as the LIASA, as CUT, Free State, UF's libraries, we will maybe one day invite them because we are still looking forward. We acknowledge also that our time was limited. Looking at the chat box, there's so much that we would like to interact and engage with our authors. So please keep your diaries open, panelists. Soon and very soon we may knock at your door. Who knows, we had book fairs that's still coming. So we would like to engage further on this. Also to our publishing house, thank you for sharing how you do the work and the services that you are offering. We also appreciate that the authors that write in the indigenous languages, we appreciate that. We hope our libraries may support them in any, although we hope all these books that we're discussing here, we hope that will be available in the shelves of the libraries. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Oh, before that, it is a Librarians Day, so a special high five to the librarians. Also, we would like to appreciate the institutions that have made it possible for the librarians to attend this event. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Maya, for that wonderful note of thanks. And once again, thank you to everyone that was able to join us today and the engagement. We have come to the end of today's event. Until we meet again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was also tasked to invite everyone to the reading park that will take place on the 9th of September, follow LIASA Free State. For the details, we are in business of encouraging and inculcating the culture of reading. So please be there. We invite all our authors also to be in that reading park. We will be interacting and assisting children to read, as we all know that the reading levels of the children in South Africa are low. So we are in that business of increasing them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maya. And thank you to everyone. Until we meet again, bye.